Carlie, and something that I absolutely love currently doing that I've been doing a lot of is rock climbing. The climbing community is definitely just really fun to be around. I've been climbing for about 3 years now. Unique compared to a lot of other individuals. I was injured when I was 3. My mom was a figure skating instructor. And so instead of like my sister and I going to daycare, she brought my sister and I and we learned to skate while she coached other people about skating. And so I can kind of remember skating with my sister like a couple weeks before the accident. There was a big ice show. And so I can remember like performing in the big ice show, like, standing next to my sister for the pictures. So in a nutshell, I was a really, really active kid. My injury was in 95, and I was injured in a car accident. So my mom was driving the car, and my sister and I were in the back, and there was definitely some black ice, and a high school driver was kind of speeding for the conditions and lost control of her car. So my mom tried to take the ditch to avoid an accident, but they hit our car. For me, being injured so young, I think it's a little bit easier. Kids are just super resilient, and they're learning about the world, especially at that young of an age. Like, you're learning how things work. My mom used to joke at first. She's like, well, I don't think they told her that she wasn't going to be able to walk or use her legs, because I would try to like put my legs in that like position and like wouldn't really get frustrated, but I would just like put them in the position, or crawling, I would kind of like put them where they should go and then like move them along. So I think I kind of did my own like physical therapy for a while there. But I also thought that physical therapy and like kind of some of my rehab stays were just kind of a lot of one-on-one play dates. I was fortunate that I was at a children's hospital at the University of Michigan, and they really provided a lot of holistic care and had, child life specialists and recreation therapists along with like the PTs and OTs. There definitely were like challenges throughout, and I didn't actually ever break my vertebrae in the initial accident or have any like stabilizing surgery then, but kind of as I grew, things grow normally, and so I had a lot of corrective orthopedic surgeries. Missing school was a big challenge, both from simply missing long periods of school and missing those academics, and then just sometimes it was hard for not seeing my friends, school dances and those kinds of things. Fortunately, for the most part, I had really good friends, and they'd come visit, and they were also didn't really think too differently, and I think kids were just kind of accustomed to growing up with me, so they didn't have any issues with like bullying or anything like that. And although it was hard at times, my mom kind of had the same expectations for me that she had for my sister, or that she would have had for me before my injury. And she would definitely get looks in terms of a small cute little kid in a small little chair, and she'd be like, well, we're not going to go in until you try to open the door. People were like, oh, do you see how mean she's being to that little girl, or that poor little girl and stuff? But I didn't notice those comments, and I can only imagine now as an adult how hard that was for her to keep doing and hearing that kind of stuff. But I think that her just having those expectations really helped me to become independent and not really look at myself any differently. Just throughout your life, you definitely interact with people that you're like, what? Or, oh, that's so nice that you're out. Like, people, expect, and maybe as a new injury, you don't see yourself going out and doing all of these things, but soon enough you'll realize it's not really any different. If you liked going to the bar before, you'll still go to the bar, or whatever. You'll find ways to do the things that you did before, and people will say silly things, but sometimes you can, in a polite way, educate them without being too rude. And there's only been, I think, a couple of times that I can remember in my whole life where somebody truly, I think, had like mean intentions. Usually they have the best intentions, and it's just kind of a lack of education and exposure to individuals with physical disabilities. Through high school, I had missed quite a bit of school, just in terms of surgeries, and I broke my femur and didn't get the grades that I wanted or expected, but I was kind of able to bounce back from those, and I was still able to get into the University of Illinois. So that was pretty exciting. Some of the other stuff that maybe wasn't surprised, but I was pretty excited about is I played wheelchair basketball actually also in college. After college, I decided that I'd work for a little bit and join the real world, and then I decided to go back to grad school for child life and therapeutic recreation. One more internship and I'll be done with that. And something I'm hoping to master is doing the whole full full-time job thing and also trying to like maintain life. And a couple pieces of, I guess, advice, especially speaking to the families in this video, is definitely care for them and be there when those times where, you know, they're upset and it seems like the world is the worst, but also hold them to those high standards and help them realize their potential. Because if you don't hold them to those standards, they'll never know the capabilities and the possibilities that they have. And things aren't going to be as fair, and they're going to face more challenges, especially maybe you're in a country where the Americans with Disabilities Act isn't a thing and places aren't accessible and there aren't the same amount of resources. But if you teach them, they'll realize that they have that potential. And then I think to the person that's injured, I would say it definitely gets better. You can do it. And try to connect and meet with myself or anybody else that you can that is in a similar situation. I think that meeting people that have experienced something similar can really make a very big impact on the rehabilitation process. Wheelchair basketball, I love the game. I love the sport. I was always kind of a hard worker, but I think I really learned how hard you can work and how focused and dedicated you can be through that sport and the people and opportunities it's provided. So I am someone that walking again isn't even, I don't even think about that. It's not a goal or a priority or even a desire. And even if there was a magic pill, I would not choose to walk again. I've had so many opportunities that I never would have had, and some of my best learning experiences, I've had the opportunity. I've been really fortunate to travel to other countries. I've been to Morocco, Algeria, and Thailand to try and connect with individuals that have disabilities. And it was a lot about trying to teach them wheelchair basketball, try to like create sustainable adaptive sports was kind of the mission, but there was also that piece of the social change. And one of the things we saw with the kiddos was they weren't used to being told no. The kids were literally, they were adorable. They had the best smiles and they were like the cutest kids, but we'd be in like the middle of an instruction and then they'd get bored with that and the kids would be like over on like the side and like talking. And like I can remember telling this one kiddo like, oh no, you got to stay over here. And in Algeria, they didn't have the opportunity to go to school. They hadn't really learned like structure and we had the opportunity to kind of show them what their potential is and that they can't do whatever they want whenever they want, because eventually they can be productive adults. And like you just have to learn structure at a young age and allow them to play, because recreation and all of that is so powerful and everybody should have that available to them.